Hello, my name is Crimpy Wheel, and welcome back to the Wheelhouse. Today we got quite a interesting episode to kind of cover on. I kind of want to talk about today about MatPat's retirement from game theory. Now, I think there's kind of a lot to get in here, and I know I'm kind of late to the party here, but I think I do have some interesting things to say, and I think a lot of kind of what he has done on the platform very much kind of affects me and kind of like has made me think differently a lot about some of these things I do. So kind of to kind of like ease into this, I want to first kind of talk about my relationship with MatPat or game theory kind of over the years. So pretty much, I have grown up on YouTube. I've definitely watched YouTube since a very young age. Watched all the OG Minecraft YouTubers, and stuff like that. We got your Stampy, who also actually just retired. Reason I didn't do really episode on him, I guess there's just not much to say because with kind of like people like that, Stampy Longnose, I kind of like just mostly watched in my childhood and kind of like eased out. I definitely like returned to him like when he was retiring. I saw videos like, oh my god, just like so nostalgic, but it wasn't like just the type of content I watch anymore. It's just not my thing. But it's just it's something that reminded me of that part of my childhood. So that was kind of really cool. But how that's different from MatPat is I've definitely watched him pretty much for, the whole entire time since now, kind of. And let me kind of explain that. So yeah, I watched MatPat when I was younger, Game Theory. I was there for his game lab when he had that with like the YouTube Red or YouTube Original. I forgot what it was like called back then. So it was like, I watched that, and there'd definitely be periods of time where I'd stop watching him, then go back. Stop, then go back. It definitely, I wasn't fully constant with watching him, and I think that's a little bit different. So I'm not a super fan. I'm not exactly a super fan of the channel Game Theory or the channels that go along with it, but I would still keep checking back, and, I'd have like small periods of time where, I'd go back and watch him, maybe catch up on a lot of videos I missed. Something I would always do is actually keep up with like the FNAF videos. I was really, I'm still pretty interested. It's getting a little bit confusing, but the FNAF lore, I try to keep up with that because, for me, a lot of the game theory, how I saw it was like, you're looking into the lore of a game that, for a lot of these, probably don't expect expanding the lore to that extent. So I didn't really see the purpose of doing it. I understand why people watch that and find it entertaining because like it's a what if, what if it was like this is kind of cool. For me it just kind of wasn't fully that, not like saying, oh, channel's bad, game theory is bad, like no, just not necessarily my thing. I think it's definitely more I'd have to care about also like the game or the game franchise for me to watch the video. So it's, for me, it was also like very hard to take rare chances on a video if I didn't know the video game, because I just, again, thought, what's the point? We're dissecting lore of this game I don't know. I want to know the game first, at least. So that's kind of why it wasn't fully constant. And it was, just over the years, that's just kind of how it was. But I still very much kind of liked MatPat's personality. I think it was he's a very cool dude, Fun fact, actually, I went to the 10th annual VidCon. I think it was 2019, I believe. I believe it was the 2019 one. Whichever was the 10th anniversary one of VidCon. And that was my first VidCon, my only VidCon. I definitely want to go back, and I could probably make a whole episode about even just talking about how that experience at VidCon was like. But it definitely was like going to VidCon. It was so surreal. And while I was there, I was able to meet MatPat. So I had like the base roles. So, like, for VidCon, there's multiple tiers of like passes. And like there's a basic pass where pretty much you can get in, watch panels. Then there's another one above that where you can actually meet the creators. But sometimes creators would have their own booth, and sometimes they just meet there. So that means anyone could go see him. So I had the base pass. We didn't have any like the meet and greet passes. So I was still able to meet him. So I was able to get in line in his booth. I actually got also some of my very few YouTube merch. I got a poster from him. I think if you've seen a lot of like, I think I showed a lot in Rewind recently, just because I think the poster means a lot to me. It says internet friends are the best friends. I'm looking at it right now. It's kind of just on my wall in good distance. You know, I got that signed by them. I got like a Game Theory shirt that I've never worn that because they signed it. So it definitely doesn't fit me anymore. But, you know, it's kind of nice to have it. I have photos and videos of this interaction too, which I'll probably put at the end of this episode. But it was very cool to kind of have that interaction with him. It definitely broke the walls. Like, wow, this is like, you know, previous to this, I didn't really meet any YouTubers. And actually, like, seeing them and having a conversation with them. And, like, you know, I'm within, like, 5 feet of them. You know, it's like there's just a table between us. And that's kind of pretty much it. And I think it's so cool, you know? Like, it really puts in perspective, oh my gosh, this is a real guy. And there's always, like, the saying, like, don't meet your heroes, because you might see them as someone who's, like, you might expect them like this great person. They're actually not that great. No, he met my expectations. He's, like, it's really hard to explain, but he's just, like, a really chill dude. Like, I was very young at the age, and I was a lot more shy. So, you know, he was more talking to me than I was talking to him, but he kind of, like, knew how to talk to me, and he kind of could tell that I was nervous, and it was like, you know, keep asking me questions. I remember it's like, hey, you know, what do you think we could change our game there to make it better? I'm like, I don't know, man. You're doing good. Keep it up. And also, like, his wife was there, Stephanie, and, you know, it was really cool. And I think it definitely built a lot more of a connection between me and MatPat. And I think it made me just overall appreciate him more as a content creator and kind of what he does, because, you know, he's real. and that's crazy. I know that sounds stupid, but, like, this is like a real person. Like, you see a lot of celebrities, like, in movies and online and stuff like that. You know, you see them, but I don't, like, for me, it doesn't feel like they're fully real. Like, obviously, they're real people, but it's really hard to believe that. Even I think if I'd meet them, it's still, like, I don't think it would click with me as much as it did with MatPat, because it was very, like, you know, it was very, like, kind of normal conversation. It was very real, and that was so cool to me. It was just, I don't know, it was awesome. It's hard, like, okay, a lot of this podcast episode is just gonna be like me being speechless, because I think a lot of about MatPat and all of this is a lot more emotion based, and it's hard to very much put that stuff into words. But I don't know, it was incredible. So yeah, pretty much I've watched him on and off, and, you know, it was cool. You know, it definitely, you know, I was there for, like, when each channel, like, new channel launched. I think besides GT Live, I don't think I was there for GT Live. For me, I'm not very much like a live streamer, you know, watching live stream. So I was like, you know, I don't necessarily care for it too much. But all the other channels I was there for, because I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Actually, I don't think I was there for Film Theory launch. I forgot what year that actually launched. I think I might have been too young to, like, really pay attention to that. But yeah, it was very cool to kind of see. You know, it was like a thing you check back on him. You know, it was I like that relationship, and it kind of felt like MatPat was the face of YouTube, or was one of the big faces of YouTube. Like, I don't know, this is like your go-to guy. Like, this guy's chill. This guy has an amazing personality. It's just like he's always gonna be here because he's just part of YouTube. That's just how it is. You know, it never crossed my mind once. It's like, oh my god, he could retire one day. It's like, no, you know, it seems like he's loving this. I think this whole thing, you know, he belongs here. You know, YouTube is his home. So, when I got out of one of my class periods and was heading to lunch, and looked at my phone, and saw a video saying like, I think it was goodbye internet, and like watching the first few seconds. Yeah, no, that really, I think I was shocked, obviously. I think it was such a weird, I didn't, like, I was going through a lot then. I wasn't, like, crying or anything. I was just like, what the heck? And so I go, like, show my friend Christopher, and it was like, oh my god, like, this can't be happening, you know? I think I waited until I got home to fully watch it. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, this actually can't be real. It definitely seemed, I think, worse than it actually was. Because now, after the few weeks and him kind of, I think, providing more information, he actually has GT Live now. So that's kind of his channel. So he's still around. He's still going to be doing a lot of events. But just knowing that he's not, like, a host, I'm like, oh my god. Like, he's been here forever. Like, that can't be possible. I don't know. That's not a real thing. It definitely, like, I was going through it. I don't think I ever cried, but I definitely felt pretty emotional about it. So definitely his last few theories started rolling out on every channel. I didn't even technically watch all of them. I still haven't watched them yet, and I probably should watch them, but I don't have like a set plan to watch all of them. Just because, again, how I've kind of stated before in this video, I don't necessarily care about watching something I don't really have much information on. Just some videos, they're not necessarily for me. It's not that I don't care about what he does or I'm not appreciative about it. I think it's just, some specific content, I don't even care about. And sometimes it can be, like 30 minutes. Like, okay, I mean, yeah, he's going, but like, I think I watched a lot more when he left. Because I don't think it really hit me when, like, it was a final video and, like, it was set in stone that he left. I think it was kind of the same thing when Unis Honest ended. I'm like, okay, it's ending, but you don't, like, fully appreciate and fully put it in perspective until it is over and it is done, and it's not really coming back. Like, oh, shit, like, oh my god, this is, like, actually done. Like, this is gone. So I mean, I don't know. That was really crazy to me. And especially like the last video, that definitely hit me, and it very much like put in perspective like what he cares about and kind of like his like perspective on this, and I think it's really cool. Oh my gosh, man. It's definitely like, I think it's cool to see like the ending with like, he got the fucking music, like still even like being emotional through it all. Like it's real, and I think that's why it was like so cool. And I think like it's very interesting, kind of to a little sidetrack of his retirement in terms of like, he's retiring, not fully retiring, but he is retiring from YouTube. And I think that is such an interesting aspect to it in terms of like, I think it made a lot of YouTubers think about retirement and what retirement kind of looks like and when to retire. Because I think it is very different from when you retire from a YouTube channel to like, a normal job, because you are the face, or most of the time there's like one face of the YouTube channel. MatPat is a team, so it's like, but it's still him. Like he is presenting himself on every single video. So I mean, I definitely understand why he left, but it's just like, he pretty much described it. I think I watched he said in multiple places. I watched like the Colin Samir podcast he did. He said a lot of places, but he pretty much, he wanted to retire because he was on the peak of his game. He was in the FNAF movie. He was breaking, records on stuff. He just launched his 4th channel. And, he fully fit all like the channels he wanted to make in that sphere, and he kind of accomplished a lot of his major goals. He's done charity events that's gained millions and millions of dollars towards charity. So he's kind of done it all. And here's the thing, you could keep going. You could keep going for years and years. But what will end up happening, no matter what, no matter who you are, there'll be a slow decline of like people caring about you. People will start like watching you. It's not necessarily that you've done something bad. I mean, that's always a possibility. We're human, but it purely can just be like, you're just not the thing anymore. You're getting out of date because you have to. It's hard to keep up with the YouTube, algorithm. It's like, okay, well, people want to watch this video, so let's push this video. And it's definitely, YouTube's getting very fast paced. I mean, it's been fast paced for a while, but it is very much this grind. And that can definitely wear on the creator. Viewers will want to see more different stuff. So it's either you end where you are at your peak and it can't really get much better than this, and you've kind of done it all, and there's people there to actually like congratulate you and like you leave a good memory, or you could keep doing it for a few more years, maybe get some good stuff out of it, maybe like 10, 20 more years. You could do YouTube for a long time, but I think when that retirement would be a lot smaller, and I think you'd have a lot less. So it's kind of like, are you gonna choose to retire at a good place, or are you gonna be forced to retire at maybe not such a good place? So it's definitely like, for me, that was something I was actually thinking of, just like my own channel, even, which is kind of weird, thinking that I haven't even fully established kind of what I'm doing on here, but thinking about like how like what I want to retire, because I think it takes a lot to like retire at that point where you're at the peak. Like, that is a extremely hard decision to make, like to like retire after and leaving all of that. Like, I don't know if I could do that, because we've seen like a lot of other YouTubers who continue past their peak and still making videos. For example, one of the big ones I can think of right now, or not big, but ones that I kind of know, is like DanTDM. DanTDM made a lot of Minecraft content back in the day, big Minecraft YouTuber. I mean, he's still making content. I definitely don't think it's getting as much views as it is now. I think he made some appearances with like the Tommy in it and stuff like that, so I think he gained a little bit more fame back, but then it started going back down. So it's definitely like, he's still making content, but there's not much of an audience there. A lot of people who grew up watching him don't really watch him anymore, and they don't really go back for nostalgia purposes. So he's very much changed like what he's doing on the channel, which is kind of very weird. I think it was the same point with Stampy Longnose in terms of why he retired, was because, well, no one's really, people are coming back to his Lovely World videos because they're nostalgic. There's not many like people who are like actively watching those videos who are like, kind of invested in it. It's just nostalgia purposes. So it's very, it's a very weird point. Like, if Stampy Longnose retired where he was more on peak of his game, he had his own show at some point. I think it was, I might have been with YouTube. I don't know if it was with YouTube. He was putting out books. He had this huge fan base. If he retired then, he would have gotten a much bigger, goodbye. Not that he didn't get a big goodbye, but it's interesting to see that dynamic, and it's definitely unclear of which is the right way to retire from the platform. So I definitely found that as like a really interesting aspect to all of this, because also, it wasn't just like MatPat retired. There was a few other YouTubers who retired like very close in proximity, which was very weird, and started like this YouTube retirement trend. So I think a lot of people on the platform were truly thinking about that, and that's really interesting. Not saying that other people retired because of MatPat. I just think a lot of it was a coincidence that started a trend. So it definitely, it very much was an interesting time on YouTube, and I think everyone was really scared of like, oh no, like who's gonna retire next? Like I saw some memes on Markiplier retiring. Like that, I would lose it if Markiplier retired. I don't think he's retiring anytime soon, but I definitely watch a lot of Markiplier right now, if anyone's interested in that. But anyways, MatPat's retirement, it was definitely, he's around. He's still gonna be doing stuff. I'm still gonna be checking on the new game theory stuff, because I think the new game theory stuff, because I watched like the first episode of all of them, and I think they're honestly pretty cool. I think they'll definitely do his legacy well. I mean, he's not dead. He still can create more stuff, and I'm interested to see kind of with his more free time what he does, because for me it definitely wasn't like, I wasn't a fan of, yes, I liked what he was making, but I wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't like of game theory. Like, yeah, there was definitely some episodes really cool, some episodes I didn't care about. It was definitely a mix for me. But I was mostly a fan of him. Like, when there was like live action segments of the thing, I found that really cool, because then you can actually see more of him. I'm very much a fan of MatPat, and I think that's really cool. I still very much appreciate what he did on the channels, and that's why I'm still going to watch the channels, because I still think some of the stuff that they're going to make is going to be really interesting. I think I'm definitely a lot more interested in food theory and style theory, just because, it's very interesting. They do very interesting experiments with also live action experience, so you get to know kind of the people better, and it's kind of like, you don't need to know a specific game franchise to get it. Not saying for game theories, I think he always kind of someone explains it, but you kind of get what I'm getting at. So for me, that was kind of really cool. But I kind of want to take a moment and switch up the story here, and I kind of want to talk about overall MatPat's impact on the YouTube community and on me and all of that, because he very much, like, even though he was retired, I still see him as like one of the big faces of YouTube. He's always kind of the safe space, and just him as a person, I feel like has touched like so many other people, and he's interacted with so many creators, like through his charity live streams. Like, he has so many like unique creators on there, and he like even like some smaller creators, some bigger creators, and it's really cool to kind of see all that. A lot of creators reference MatPat and like the famous like it's just a theory line, and that's really cool. Like, he was at a time he was pretty much everywhere, and there's like essence of him kind of everyone, and that's so cool. It definitely, and not even only that, but like his community kind of, I mean, in the video he like really illustrated it, that he truly cares for his community, like truly. I do not think there's another creator out there who cares for their community more than MatPat. And that's so cool. That's so cool, because I think there's always been a discussion of what's creators' relationship should be with fans, because there's definitely can be some very unhealthy relationship between the creator and fans. But I think between MatPat and his fans, I think it is so cool, and it's so like, I think his community feels so welcoming, and it feels like it's so easy to be a part of kind of everything, and like, feel connected to all these people, and it was really cool. And I think for me that is a massive inspiration for me. My inspiration isn't like Mr. Beast. I don't want to be the next Mr. Beast. I watch Mr. Beast videos. I appreciate what he does. I think the format he can do is really cool, and how he's pushing the boundaries of YouTube is very interesting. But I don't want to be Mr. Beast. I would much rather be someone like MatPat who's able to create this content and be like, everyone watches his content because obviously the content's good, but also because of the creator himself. People like him, and I think I really love that connection he has with him and his community. And I someday, when I get bigger and bigger, hopefully, I 100% want that same type of relationship between me and the community I hopefully make, because I just think that's like just so cool. I think that is the ultimate goal of YouTube. That is why I want to be a YouTuber. Like, yes, I have video editing skills. I have a lot of skills, specifically more that I could go and make I can't make a movie. I mean, I could. If someone gave me the opportunity, I think I could do an okay job. Over time, I could learn. I could go to college. I could climb the ladder and, work on movies or work on TV shows, work on documentaries. There's a lot of stuff in the film world. But I think a major aspect that is lost from all of that is that sense of connection of a community. Because, people go to movie because they're fan of the studios, they are a fan of the director, or they are a fan of the actor. It is very rarely anything else out of that. And it's definitely not like, when I'm talking about like a movie star, I don't think any movie star has a community. I think they can, but it's really weird. I think it is a very much different type of community, and it's like, it's a fan base. I think there's very much a difference between a community and a fan base. And I don't think a movie star can have a community, or a director can have a community, or a studio could have a community. They can only have a fan base. And YouTube, I feel like, or social media, I guess, in general, is the only place where you're able to create a community, and that is all I want. Like, I really can't see myself doing anything else besides YouTube. I think for me, this has kind of pushed me. MatPat's retirement, which it's weird that it affected me this way, but MatPat's retirement has really like pushed me. It's like, okay, it's YouTube or nothing, which might, come up with some issues later on, but I think that just kind of shows, the next generation of YouTubers are going to be people who think that way. That people are like, okay, I see YouTube. If you're not like pretty much 100% committed to YouTube, I'm sorry, but you're probably not going to make it. That is kind of what I have learned on the platform, being here so long, hearing from what other creators have to say, is that if you're not 100% committed to this and you're not going to work hard, because here's the thing, there's people who have gotten more subscribers than me, who got more views than me, and they've, they've done well, and they've put in less work than me. As much as frustrating that is, you can see like, okay, they did this cool thing, but then they don't continue that. And I think that's where really I stand out. I think as a creator, is if you keep failing and failing, the only thing that matters is if you keep trying. Once you stop trying, you failed. So that's why I don't think I've ever failed. I think our videos failed, but I haven't failed, because I keep trying and I'm still here and I'm still doing stuff, even though I've had many difficulties trying to kind of grow what I've done on here. So a little off topic, but it definitely, like, that is kind of how I see the next generation of YouTubers, and I think, it's going to be a very interesting future, I guess, and I'm very interested in seeing it. I think it's very scary, 100%. It is extremely scary, but it's definitely kind of very interesting how that route will kind of go, especially for me. So, stick around, and we'll see what's next. But anyways, definitely going back. Let's turn this back to MatPat. I definitely see, like, for how like I would want to run my YouTube channel. Like, I definitely want a team of people always kind of working on my stuff, and like how MatPat has his. And I think that aspect of him having a whole team was really cool. Obviously, I have my team of friends, and obviously they help a lot. So currently, I technically really do have a team, and that's really cool. But I hope I'm able to retain that team, or like grow upon it, and more I grow. And I think it'll be kind of really interesting to see that. But yeah, I think I've waited so long to record this. I forgot I've said this, but I definitely like wanted to make sure I covered everything about this, and I think I was able to. If I do think of anything up more, I'll maybe put it down in the comments or the description. I'll kind of see, but for the most part, I was kind of able to cover everything. Just overall, MatPat is a cool guy, and it's very sad to see him step down from game theory, but I think I'm somewhat glad he did, for the impact that had on me, and for kind of his own purposes of like, he's made it and he's gotten to the point where he is like, he feels satisfied with what he has done, and he is gonna move forward and do even cooler stuff. And I'm very excited to see what those future projects are gonna be. And you know what? I'll be there, and I'll be watching and I will be taking inspiration. So yeah, That's going to be pretty cool. But I think that is about all the time we have for today. So, thank you guys for watching. I believe this will be the first Wheelhouse episode in a good compilation of others. We've been recording a lot of Wheelhouse episodes lately. If this is the first one, which I believe it will be, and hopefully I'm actually going to get out this weekend, I got a lot more exciting stuff for that's coming up. I'm gonna have a conversation about some trips I've been on lately. And the time of recording this, I went to Vegas in February, and I'm going to Morocco and France next week. Oh no, in 2 weeks. So I might combine those to one episode or split them up. I'll kind of see. I had a conversation with my matching and Weta where we kind of talked about more about actually communities and fan bases. So very on par with this, but also kind of just YouTube as a whole and kind of how our relationship has very much grown throughout the years of them kind of supporting me and how that's kind of looked like. We have another episode that we did that features Matt, Tico, and Jack, where we kind of did a debate type of podcast. So very much different new style that maybe will continue if you guys are interested in it. But hopefully that will come out soon too. So there's even more than that, and I'm not gonna even, that's all the teases you're getting for now. So again, Wheelhouse, there's gonna be a lot more stuff on here this year. I'm probably not as regular, because it is technically a secondary channel, and I definitely want to spend as much time as I can on my main channel this year. And definitely, I gotta hit 1K. It's kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it's been bugging me a little bit that I've been sitting on 960, or around 960. I'm almost there. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, so definitely, you'll be seeing a lot of stuff from the Wheelhouse while I'm working on some other big YouTube stuff behind the scenes, aka The Musical, which if you're not heard of, yes, I'm working on a musical on my main channel, and that's going to be very interesting to see how it turns out. I'm having to actually learn how to sing, and I think I've made some pretty decent progress, so we'll kind of see how that goes. Anyways, I want to say thank you guys for listening to this episode of The Wheelhouse. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Peace.
Any other meet and greets planned, or no? You're just kind of hanging out, doing whatever.
Sure.
Absolutely. Do you have that simple pet or yeah? So that's honestly I wish we had more ability to do that.
And there's the awesome Nerf booth over there.
Possibly. It seems that the game is going to be better, but it's not. They're both not.
Oh, no.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to sign the collar because that's what I can sign. That's creative thinking. Yeah, so...
All right, photo time.